We tell stories of human. Way, not with artificial voices or AI slop. In the end, what's HFI without? Humanity? Subscribe to keep it this way. My name is Amir Sohal. Let's begin. Deep space was silent. No stars moved. No sound existed. Only darkness, endless and cold. Then, suddenly, a massive fleet appeared. Dozens of alien warships dropped out of hyperspace. Their black metal bodies reflected faint starlight. Each ship was armed, powerful, and ready for war. At the center of the fleet stood the command ship. Inside, the alien commander watched the blue planet on the screen. "This is a target?" he asked calmly. A lower officer nodded. "Yes, Commander. Planet designation K-217. Primitive life forms detected. No advanced defenses. No space fleet." The commander leaned back in his chair. His eyes were cold. "Easy conquest," he said. The crew around him seemed relaxed. This was not their first mission. Their empire, the Zyra Dominion, had destroyed many worlds like this before. Weak planets, easy victories. But then, something unexpected happened. A signal appeared. "Commander," one officer said, confused. "We are receiving a transmission." The commander frowned. "From the planet?" "Yes, but it is not from their system." "Play it." The room went silent. A calm voice filled the ship. "This world is under Earth's protection. Leave now." The message ended. For a moment, no one spoke. Then, suddenly, the commander laughed. "Earth," he repeated. "What is that?" One of the older officers shifted nervously. "Commander, we have heard that name before." The commander looked at him. "Explain." The officer hesitated. "There are rumors, stories. Some say Earth is not like other civilizations." "Stories?" the commander said with a smile. "We deal in facts, not stories." The officer lowered his gaze. "But Commander, no one who ignored that name has returned." The room became tense. The commander's smile slowly disappeared. He turned back to the screen. The blue planet looked peaceful. No ships, no defenses, nothing special. Just another weak world. "Scan again," he ordered. The system AI responded immediately. "Scanning. No advanced technology detected. No weapon systems. No orbital defenses." The commander nodded. "You see," he said, "there is nothing here." "But the signal," the officer tried to speak, "is a bluff," the commander interrupted. "A weak attempt to scare us." He stood up. "We did not come this far to turn back, because of a voice." The crew slowly nodded. Most of them agreed, but not all. One young officer whispered, "What if it's real?" No one answered him. The commander raised his hand. "All ships, prepare for planetary approach." Outside, the fleet began to move. Massive engines glowed as the ship slowly advanced toward the planet. Inside the command ship, everything seemed normal again, until... "Commander," the AI said suddenly. "Yes." "We are detecting unknown interference." The commander frowned. "Explain." "Our systems are experiencing minor disruptions." "Cause?" "Unknown." The commander's eyes narrowed. "Fix it." "Attempting, but the source cannot be identified." A low tension filled the room. The ships continued moving, but something felt wrong. "Run a full system check." The commander ordered. "Running." Seconds passed. Then, all systems operational, but anomalies detected. "What kind of anomalies?" "Data fluctuations, sensor distortions, unstable readings." The commander looked at his officers. "Is this coming from the planet?" "No, Commander," one officer said. "It's not from the planet." "Then from where?" No one had an answer. Suddenly, one of the smaller ships in the fleet flickered on the main screen. "What is happening?" the commander asked. The officer at the console panicked. "That ship, it's losing control." "Why?" "We don't know." The screen showed the ship shaking slightly. No explosions. No visible attack. Just failure. Then, without warning, the ship went dark. Gone. Completely offline. The room fell silent. "Report," the commander said slowly. We lost contact," the officer replied. No signal. No data. Destroyed. No, we did not detect any explosion. The commander stepped forward. Then what happened to it? No answer. Only silence. The tension in the room grew heavier. The commander looked around. Stay focused, he said. This changes nothing. But his voice was not as confident as before. Another officer spoke carefully. Commander, we should reconsider. The commander turned sharply. Reconsider what? The warning. The commander's eyes hardened. You are afraid of a voice? No, Commander. I am afraid of what we do not understand. For a moment, the commander said nothing. Then he turned back to the screen. The blue planet was still there. Quiet, peaceful, unprotected. Or was it? Continue the approach, he ordered. The fleet moved closer. Closer to the planet. Closer to something unseen. Then, the signal returned. Stronger this time. Clearer. This is your final warning. Leave now. The same calm voice. No anger. No fear. Just certainty. The commander clenched his fist. I am done with this, he said. He looked at his crew. Prepare weapons. Commander! Someone tried to speak. Now. The weapon systems activated. Power surged through the ships. Target locks formed on the planet below. Everything was ready. But just as the commander opened his mouth to give the final order, the lights flickered. All screens glitched. And then everything went silent. No alarms. No explosions. Nothing. Just silence. The commander looked around. What is happening? No one answered. The AI spoke again. All external sensors offline. What? Navigation systems unstable. This is impossible, the commander said. Then, a new message appeared on the main screen. Not a voice this time. Just words. Simple. Clear. You were already warned. The commander stared at it. For the first time, he felt something he had not felt in a long time. Fear. He turned to his officers. Find the source, he demanded. We are trying, but there is nothing there, one officer said, his voice shaking. Nothing. Yes, no ships, no signals, no visible technology. The commander slowly looked back at the screen. The message was still there. You were already warned. Then it disappeared. And in that moment, every system on the ship shut down. Complete darkness. Complete silence. The fleet, once powerful and unstoppable, was now blind and helpless. Somewhere, something was watching them, waiting. And the commander finally understood one thing. This was not a bluff, and they had made a terrible mistake. Darkness. Complete darkness filled the command ship. No lights, no sound, no movement. For a few seconds, it felt like time itself had stopped. Then, emergency lights flickered on. A dim red glow spread across the control room. The commander slowly opened his eyes. Report, he said, his voice low but tense. No one answered immediately. The crew looked shaken. One officer tried to restart his console, but nothing responded. Commander! All systems are down, he said nervously. All systems? The commander repeated. Yes, weapons, navigation, shields, everything. The commander's jaw tightened. That is impossible. Another officer spoke, his hands shaking. We are not receiving anything. No signals, no data, not even from our own fleet. The commander turned quickly. What do you mean? I mean, we are blind. A heavy silence filled the room again. The most powerful fleet of the Zyra Dominion was now helpless. Something is there. Suddenly, a soft vibration passed through the ship. Very light, almost unnoticeable. But everyone felt it. What was that? Someone whispered. No answer. The commander looked at the main screen. Still black. Try external visual, he ordered. Attempting. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, the screen slowly came to life. But what they saw made no sense. The stars were gone. The planet was gone. Everything was gone. Only darkness remained. The officer gasped. Commander! We are not seeing space. Then what are we seeing? The commander asked. The officer swallowed. I don't know. The fleet is gone. Scan for nearby ships, the commander ordered. Scanning. Seconds passed. Then the answer came. No ships detected. The room froze. No ships? The commander repeated slowly. Yes, the entire fleet, it's gone. That is not possible, the commander shouted. We were in formation. I know, Commander, but they are not here anymore. The commander stared at the screen. His mind raced. Had they moved? Had they been destroyed? Or were they never there? A voice in the silence. Then the voice returned, not through speakers, not through any system. It was everywhere. Calm, cold, unavoidable. You enter protected space. The crew looked around in fear. Where is that coming from? One officer whispered. No one knew. The commander stood up. Show yourself, he demanded. Silence for a second. Then the voice replied. You were given a warning. The commander clenched his fists. We saw no defense, no fleet, no power. The voice answered instantly. You saw what you were allowed to see. Those words hit harder than any weapon. Reality begins to break. Suddenly, the screen changed again. Now they could see the fleet, but something was wrong. The ships were frozen, completely still, like statues in space. What is this? The commander asked. The officer checked the readings. They are not moving. Are they disabled? No, it's like time stopped for them. The commander felt a chill. Time stopped? That was not possible. Not even for the most advanced civilizations. One ship falls. Then, one of the frozen ships moved. Just slightly. Everyone watched carefully. Slowly, the ship began to break apart. No explosion. No attack. It simply collapsed, piece by piece, like it was being erased. The crew stared in horror. What is doing this? Someone whispered. The voice answered again. Correction. The commander looked up. Correction? He repeated. Yes. Correction of what? The commander asked. A short pause. Then, your mistake. Fear spreads. For the first time, true fear spread across the room. Not panic. Not confusion. Fear. The kind that comes when you realize you are completely powerless. The commander tried to stay strong. We can negotiate, he said quickly. No response. We will leave the system. Immediately. Still nothing. Just restore our systems and we will go. The voice finally replied. You had that option before. The commander's heart sank. A glimpse of Earth. Suddenly, the screen changed again. This time, they saw something new. Not their fleet. Not the planet. Something else. A structure. Massive. Dark. Almost invisible. Floating in space. What is that? An officer asked. The AI tried to scan it. No data available. No energy readings. No structure mapping. It's like it doesn't exist. But it was there, watching, waiting. The commander whispered, Is that Earth? The voice responded, No. The room went silent. No, the commander asked. Just one of many. Those words made everything worse. If this was just one, then how many were there? Total control. Suddenly, every console in the room turned on at once. Not by the crew, by something else. Strange symbols filled the screens. Unknown language. Unknown system. The AI spoke, but its voice was different now. Not neutral. Controlled. We are inside your systems. The commander stepped back. You are controlling our AI? Yes. How? No answer. Because the answer didn't matter. Final realization. The commander looked around. At his crew. At his ship. At the dark structure outside. And finally, he understood. This was never a battle. There was no fight. No war. From the moment they arrived, it was already over. The last question. The commander took a deep breath, then asked the only question left. Why protect this planet? Silence. For a long moment. Then the voice answered. Because they cannot protect themselves. The commander frowned. That makes them weak. The reply came instantly. No. A pause. Then, it makes us responsible. The beginning of the end. The lights dimmed again. The strange structure outside slowly faded. The frozen fleet disappeared from the screen. One by one, all visual data vanished. The commander felt the ship shake slightly. "Status," he asked quickly. The officer checked. His eyes widened. "Commander!" "Systems are coming back online." "What?" "Navigation is active. Sensors are restoring." "Fleet signals?" the commander asked. The officer checked again. Then, "Gone." "Still gone?" "Yes." The commander looked at the screen. Only his ship remained. Alone, in empty space. The blue planet far in the distance. Untouched. Protected. Final message. Before anyone could speak again, one last message appeared. Simple. Cold. Final. Do not return. The message stayed for a few seconds, then disappeared. Ending hook. The commander slowly sat down. His hands were no longer steady. For the first time in his life, he had no orders to give, because he knew the truth now. They were not defeated. They were spared. And that was far more terrifying. The ship was alive again. Lights were stable. Systems were running. Engines were ready. But no one felt safe. The command room was quiet. Too quiet. The commander sat in his chair, staring at the main screen. His face was calm, but his eyes were not. "Status report," he said slowly. An officer responded, still shaken. "Primary systems restored. Navigation is stable. Weapons functional." A pause. No other fleet signals detected. The commander closed his eyes for a second. The entire Zyra fleet. Gone. Not destroyed. Not damaged. Just gone. Like they were never there. The order no one expected. The commander stood up. All crew, prepare to leave the system. The officers looked at each other. One of them spoke carefully. "Commander, are we retreating?" The commander didn't answer immediately. He looked at the blue planet in the distance. So small, so peaceful, so dangerous. "We are not retreating," he said quietly. "We are surviving." No one argued. Pride versus fear. But not everyone agreed. A weapons officer stepped forward. "Commander!" "With respect, we still have a fully armed ship." The commander turned to him. "And we can strike the planet from long range. One attack. Quick. Clean." The room became tense. The officer continued. "If we leave now, we show weakness." The commander walked closer. "Do you think this is about strength?" he asked. The officer hesitated. "We are the Zyra Dominion. We do not run." The commander's voice became cold. "And yet, we are the only ones left." Silence. The mistake. For a moment, it seemed like the commander would give the order to leave. But then, he stopped. His eyes slowly moved back to the planet. Something inside him changed. Pride. Anger. Refusal to accept what just happened. "They showed us power," he said quietly. "But they did not destroy us." No one spoke. The commander's voice grew stronger. "That means they are limited." One officer shook his head. "Or it means they chose not to destroy us." The commander ignored him. "All weapons target the planet." The room froze. "Commander," someone whispered. "That is an order." Locking the target. The weapons officer slowly turned back to his console. His hands were shaking. "Targeting." The system responded. Target locked. Energy began to build. The ship hummed with power. For a moment, nothing happened. No interference. No voice. No warning. The commander smiled slightly. "You see," he said, "nothing is stopping us." The second warning. Then, the temperature in the room dropped. Not physically, but something changed. The feeling in the air. Heavy. Cold. Watching. The screens flickered, and the voice returned. Calm. Unchanged. "You chose to continue." The commander did not move. "Yes," he said. A pause. Then the voice replied. "Then understand the cost." Time slows. Suddenly, everything slowed down. Not just systems. Not just screens. Everything. The crew's movements became slow. Voices stretched. Even the blinking lights moved like they were trapped in thick liquid. The commander tried to move his hand. It felt heavy. "What is happening?" He forced the words out. No answer. Precision judgment. On the main screen, the ship itself appeared. Their own ship, from the outside. But something was wrong. Parts of it began to disappear. Not explode. Not break. Disappear. Clean. Perfect. Like sections were being erased. The weapons system vanished first. Just gone. No! The weapons officer whispered slowly. Then the engines. Half of them faded into nothing. The ship shook slightly. Then stabilized. Support systems remained. Life support remained. Command remained. Everything needed to survive stayed. Everything needed to fight was removed. No escape. Time returned to normal. The crew gasped. What did they do? Someone shouted. Engines at 40%. An officer reported. Weapon system completely gone. The commander stared at the screen. They were alive, but powerless. Again, the message behind the power. The voice spoke once more. No unnecessary destruction. The commander's hands clenched. You could have destroyed us, he said. Yes. Then why didn't you? A pause. Then, you are no longer a threat. Those words hit harder than any attack, breaking the commander. For the first time, the commander had no answer, no strategy, no control. He looked at his crew. Fear, confusion, silence. This was not war. This was something else. Something far beyond war. The truth about Earth. The commander spoke again, weaker now. What are you? The answer came immediately. Human. The room froze. Human? One officer repeated. That is Earth. The commander asked. Yes. The commander shook his head. That is impossible. You hide your power. You show nothing. The reply came calm and simple. Power does not need to be seen. The final lesson. The screen changed one last time. The blue planet appeared again. Peaceful, unharmed, protected. You asked why we protect them. The voice said. The commander listened. Because one day they may stand on their own. A pause. And until then, silence filled the room. Then the final line. They are under our protection. The end of pride. The commander slowly sat down. No anger left. No pride. Only understanding. He looked at his broken ship, at his surviving crew, at the untouched planet. Set course away from this system, he said quietly. No one questioned him this time. Final hook. As the ship slowly turned away, one officer whispered, Commander, what do we tell the Dominion? The commander looked forward. His voice was heavy. The truth. A pause. Then, that we cross a line. And we survived only because they allowed it. The ship moved slowly through space. No rush, no pride, no victory. Only silence followed it. Inside the command room, no one spoke. The crew worked quietly, carefully, like every small action mattered now. The commander sat still, staring ahead. For the first time in many cycles, he was thinking, not commanding. Behind them, the protected planet grew smaller, but its presence felt larger than ever. A changed crew. Commander, we are exiting the system, an officer said softly. The commander nodded. No celebration, no relief, just acceptance. Another officer looked at the readings again and again. Still no sign of the fleet, he whispered. The commander closed his eyes for a moment. Thousands of ships. Gone. No wreckage. No signals. Nothing to report. How do we explain this? The officer asked. The commander opened his eyes. We don't explain it, he said. We report it. The return to Dominion space. Hours later, the ship reached Zyra Dominion territory. Familiar stars. Familiar signals. Normal space. But nothing felt normal anymore. Incoming communication from High Command. The AI said. The room became tense. The commander took a deep breath, put it through. A large holographic figure appeared. Tall, armored, powerful. The voice was sharp. Commander, report your mission status. The commander stood up. For the first time, his voice was not proud. Mission failed. The entire room froze. Even the High Command leader paused. Explain. The truth no one wanted. The commander did not hesitate. We encountered a protected system. Protected? The leader asked. By whom? The commander looked straight ahead. Earth. Silence. Then, laughter. Cold. Dismissive. You fail because of a myth? The commander did not react. No. His voice was steady. We survived because of it. The laughter stopped. Doubt turns to fear. The leader leaned forward. What are you saying? The commander spoke clearly. Our entire fleet is gone. Destroyed. No. A pause. Removed. The word echoed in the room. The officers around the leader began whispering. That is impossible. Yes, the commander said. It should be. Evidence. Show me proof, the leader demanded. The commander nodded. All data logs transmitting now. Moments passed. The leader watched everything. The warning, the system failure, the frozen fleet, the invisible structure, the controlled destruction, the final message. As the data ended, the room on the other side was silent. No one laughed now. The first realization. One advisor spoke slowly. This level of control, another finished the thought, is beyond anything we have. The leader's expression changed. Not anger, not disbelief, something else. Concern, the question that matters. The leader looked back at the commander. Why did they let you live? The commander answered without hesitation. Because we were no longer a threat. The words fell heavy. The leader understood. That was not mercy. That was judgment. A dangerous truth. If what you say is true, the leader said slowly, then this Earth is not just another civilization. The commander nodded. They do not act like one. Then what are they? The leader asked. The commander paused, then gave the only answer that made sense. They are guardians. The galaxy changes. Days passed. The report spread across the Zyra Dominion, then beyond. Other empires heard the story. At first, they doubted it. Then they saw the data. Then they became silent. New rules began to form. Unwritten, unspoken, but understood. If a system carried a certain signal, if a world was marked, no one touched it. The mark of Earth. Soon it had a name. Not official, but known across the galaxy. The mark of Earth. A simple warning. A simple promise. And a simple truth. Cross it, and you may not return. Back to the commander. The commander stood alone in his quarters, looking out into space. He was alive. His crew was alive. But everything had changed. An officer entered quietly. Commander, new orders from high command. The commander did not turn. Read them. The officer hesitated. Zyra Dominion will avoid all systems marked by Earth. A pause. Permanent order. The commander nodded slowly. Understood. The final message. As the officer left, the commander continued to stare into space. Then, a small signal appeared on his personal console. Unknown origin. No source. He froze. Slowly, he opened it. The same calm voice filled the room. We see you chose to learn. The commander did not speak. You will not be stopped again. If you remember. The message paused. Then, protection is not weakness. A final moment of silence. Then the last words. It is a promise. The signal disappeared. The ending that echoes. The commander sat down slowly. No fear this time. No anger. Only respect. Far away, countless worlds continued their lives. Unaware of what almost happened. Unaware of what protected them. And in the vast darkness of space, something watched. Not as a ruler. Not as a conqueror. But as a guardian. Final line, powerful ending. And from that day on, the galaxy learned one simple truth. Earth does not seek war. But if you threaten what it protects, there will be no second mistake. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed this content, make sure to subscribe to the channel and support us. It really helps us grow and bring more videos like this. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.